What's going on? Welcome to the Being Beautifully Honest podcast and channel. Thanks for being here, being subbed. If you're not, hit the button. And if you're listening on YouTube, hit the like. It's like walking in the room and hitting that light switch. Let's brighten up the place and get into the politics and BS. So yes, it is officially election day. And a lot of people like myself have already voted early. So today is just the day where those who never either vote early knew that early voting even existed, or they just are so used to just voting on the day of election, or they're not going to vote at all, is when we start seeing the actual results come out. Now, I'm going to share this video, and I'm sharing this video because as a business owner myself, I don't talk a whole lot about my business over here, but as a business owner myself, I wanted to get into the specifics as to why Donald Trump would be a horrible pick for business, and why the people who have been claiming that Donald Trump is good for the country because he's good for business is an absolute lie. So the people who have come out to say that Donald Trump is a better pick because he's good for the country because he's a successful business person, that's not true. Donald Trump has filed for bankruptcy so many times. He is a fraud. He is a reality star at best who has been propped up by his family's money. He never had to work for anything in his life. And so for him to be elected again would be an insult and a terrible thing for the country. So I'm going to share this video with you guys because I can tell you, not getting to the specifics of it for myself and about my business, but I started a business in 2008, and my business did not do well under his administration. I'm just being honest. So I'm going to share this video with you guys. All right, so this video is from the Midas Touch. I'm actually going to probably speed it up a little bit if I can. Maybe not. I'll just go ahead and get started.
The business community is sick and tired of Donald Trump and his ilk, and they are letting their voices be heard. Before the election, they formed an organization called Business Leaders for Vice President Kamalaharris, and they've been sharing their stories. And, you know, you think about what Donald Trump and his surrogates are even saying and doing right before the election. It tells you everything. I'm going to share with you some of the stories from these business owners who are going public and letting other business owners know that you got to vote for Vice President Kamala Harris. But just take a look at what went down on Friday, where you had MAGA Mike Johnson take a trip in New York to one of the kind of swing congressional districts there in an area that has massive amounts of jobs as a result of the CHIPS Act, which was spearheaded by President Biden, which has created tens of thousands, potentially hundreds of thousands of jobs, not just in New York, but in swing states across the country. People are being put back to work who lost their jobs when Trump was in office. So MAGA Mike Johnson's asked this question by Luke Raydell. He's from Citrus News. Great questions by Luke. I mean, he's a reporter from the Syracuse University News Network. And take a listen to what MAGA Mike says here. He goes, he will get rid of the CHIPS Act on day one. And recall, he previously said that he was going to get rid of the Affordable Care Act on day one. He says he's talking with Donald Trump about this stuff to get rid of it. Here, play this clip.
The former president has said that he doesn't support the CHIPS and Science Act. You voted against it. If you have a Republican majority in Congress and Trump in the White House, will you guys try to repeal that law?
I expect that we probably will, but we haven't developed that part of the agenda yet. We got to get over the election first. And that's why.
That's terrible for business. I mean, who comes up with these strange, unhinged ideas to literally gut our economy? I want to show you this too, because business leaders are taking note. Who are some of the top generals who were, or mostly all of the top generals who surrounded Donald Trump? John Kelly, Mark Milley, James Mattis, H.R. McMaster, Mark Esper, Staniel McChrystal, Mike Mullen, James Starvitus. Take a look at these people. General of the Marines, General of the Army, General Marines, Lieutenant General Army, Lieutenant Colonel Army, General Army, Admiral Navy, Admiral Navy. Just take a screenshot of this, if you will. It's each of these people saying Donald Trump is a fascist. He is a horrible leader. He is dangerous. These are people, these are as serious people as you get. Take a screenshot of that right now, and I want you to send it to any undecided voter that you know. Say, this is Donald Trump's own generals in their own word. But let's take a look at what some of these entrepreneurs and business owners, small business owners, medium-sized business owners, large business owners, CEOs, let's see what they have to say. I'm going to share with you some of these incredible stories. Pass this message along as well. This is Jackie. She's an entrepreneur from Michigan, and she voted for Donald Trump twice before. Here's what she has to say. Play the clip.
I'm a two-time Trump voter, and I am voting for Harris. I am a business owner. A second Trump presidency would be harmful for the country and our economy because he doesn't get us. He does not understand the small business.
Now, here is...
It's not that he just doesn't understand the small business. He does not care about the small business. You remember during the time of the pandemic and all of the funding that came out for businesses, the PPP loans and the EIDL loans for businesses? Do you know how hard it was for smaller businesses to access? A lot of small businesses like mine did not get to access the PPP loans, and they allowed crooked people to be able to get that money. And now in turn, a lot of those people have been getting prosecuted, have already gotten prosecuted. Some of them probably have not even gotten touched yet, but they allowed that to happen under his administration, and also allowed bigger corporations that didn't need the money to get the money that they really didn't deserve to have because they weren't even struggling. A lot of them were essential businesses that did not even have to shut down. So they were still making money and making a whole lot more.
David Trone. Here's what he has to say about Donald Trump's disastrous economic plans. And take a listen to the business that he runs. Play the clip.
My name is David Trone. My company's name is Total Wine and More. We operate all across the United States in 30 states with 12,000 team members. I started my company in 1984 with a small store in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania on a shoestring. We built our check stands out of 2x4s and painted them yellow. We built our beer cooler. We didn't have any capital. We had nothing to start with. Vice President Harris's support for small businesses, her programs of loans up to $50,000. I mean, I can only think of what I could have done with that. And that's what
do you hear that? Loans up to $50,000 for new business startups. Like I told you guys, I started my business in 2008. Shit, I'll start another one. I'll start a brand new one under this, new administration that I'm believing is going to be elected and sworn in January. I will start a new one and get access to that capital, because capital is hard to obtain for smaller businesses, especially for those that are not operated by people that look like him. Let's be clear. I'm not hating on the man. I'm very familiar with Total Wine and More stores. If you know, you know. So, yeah, I'm glad that people like him are speaking out about how terrible Donald Trump would be for the economy.
these loans are about. It's investing in ideas, because business is always an idea. One man, one woman had an idea that was better than the rest. And that's how you create jobs. And if I'd have had that capital then, it could have made my life so much better, because we could have grown our business so much faster. I mean, what Donald Trump has proposed on tariffs, and my company, Total Wine and More, we buy wine from 40 countries all over the world that we sell in our stores. And when he puts a 20%, 30% tariff on those products, that means your tequila, your scotch, your Irish whiskey, your Tuscany wines, your New Zealand Sauvignon Blancs, all of those are going to cost 20 to 30% more. That is just bad, dumb. And dumb's a generous word.
And that's what Donald Trump is, dumb Donald Trump. Because to think that imposing tariffs on China and other nations, who do you think is going to pay for that? They're going to pass the cost off to us, and then the companies are going to pass the cost off to the consumers. The other countries do not pay it. They're just going to charge you more because they know that you need the stuff that they are exporting, that you are importing for your business.
Dumb policy. Tariffs are nothing more than a sales tax. I talk to developers everywhere, and I always ask, did you ever work with a deal with Donald Trump? And every single developer, to a person, says the same thing. I would never deal with Donald Trump. He's a crook. He doesn't follow up on his word, and it's all about Donald Trump. And when we think about who's going to be best for business, who's going to drive business in our country, there's just simply one choice, and that is Vice President Kamala Harris.
So, like to hear this man say that he's spoken to people personally who have done business or attempted to do business with Donald Trump, and they all said that he's a crook, he is terrible for business, those are the things that the mainstream media does not, and did not spend a whole lot of time on. So I'm going to fast forward it a little bit and hear what this other
Listen, play
one
this
has.
clip.
The way that I would characterize President Trump's leadership style is chaotic. I would say that based on my personal experience with him on the Manufacturing Council, as well as observing the rest of his administration, I think it's pretty fair to say that there was no level of stability or predictability. I think there was a huge amount of vindictiveness that came out of his decisions and the positions that he took, often with respect to American businesses. He would say, instead of having sort of a cogent, consistent industrial or economic policy, often it was informed by political concerns and also based on personal grudges.
May I introduce you to Gabe? He's a coffee shop owner from Arizona. Play the clip.
My name is Gabe. I am a small business owner here in Tempe, Arizona, and I am going to be voting for Kamala Harris this year. We are a coffee shop and coffee roasting company here in Arizona. Right now, we employ about 15 people. A Harris presidency would be better for the small business economy and just for the economy in general, because there's actually a plan in place to support us. There is a plan to help reduce or change the tax incentives for starting a new business, which are huge. A $5,000 tax cut right now, or tax credit, just doesn't come close to what's needed.
And that's $5,000 really is nothing. It's nothing in the grand scheme of things. And when you really want to have a successful business and you're paying for marketing and advertising, that alone is so expensive.
Here's Josh. Josh is a small business owner. Play the clip.
Hi, I'm Josh. I am a small business owner from the great state of Idaho, and I am voting for Kamala Harris in November. I own a marketing agency here in Idaho, and one of the primary customers we have are entrepreneurs, startups, and innovators.
And it's funny. I was about to say this guy actually looks. This is not the person that I work with, but the guy that I work with for marketing for my business actually looks like this guy. Like, seriously, the haircut, the glasses, like he looks like him. But yeah, I'm an entrepreneur and I work with businesses that handle marketing, digital marketing, and things like that. And the guy looks like this. I just thought that was kind of funny, but I'll continue.
And it really seems like Vice President Harris is standing up for those people. The fact that the government still thinks it only costs $5,000 to start a business in 2024 is ridiculous. Raising that to maximum deduction on small business taxes of $50,000 will help small businesses not only get off the ground, but pay for those things that companies like mine offer. You need a website, you need copywriting, you need advertising. Those are the things that are going to help propel businesses forward, and President Kamala Harris believes in that.
Did you catch that? He said, and I'm going to speak it right now, he was speaking prophetically, because this guy said, President Harris. He didn't say Vice President Harris, because that's what she actually is at this moment in time. She won't be president until she's actually elected and inaugurated, but he called her President Harris. Go ahead and prophesy, young man. Go ahead and prophesy.
I started 2 businesses, took them public and ran them. So I know a lot about what it takes to build a business. I'm super excited for the Harris-Walz administration's approach to business. They have a strategy to ensure that the United States is competitive and that our businesses win here and around the world. They're also going to run our nation and our government in a way where we have not only domestic political stability, but that we continue to build up alliances around the world so that U.S. businesses can succeed. What scares me the most about Trump's economic policies is that he wants to isolate the United States from the rest of the world. Right? It is incredibly important that we both bring jobs back to the United States and reshore whole industries in the United States, which the Biden-Harris administration has been doing, and the Harris-Walz administration will continue. But we also have to engage globally. We need to make sure markets are open for our companies to sell goods and compete overseas. I want U.S. businesses not only thriving in the United States of America, but I want them winning overseas. And this is not only good for business, but it's also good for our national security. One of the reasons the United States is so central to ensuring that there's peace and stability in the world is both our extraordinary military, but also the diplomatic alliances we have, many of which are based on economic interests that we share with our allies. Trump wants to unravel that whole model and isolate the United States, which is terrible for business, but it's also terrible for our national security.
Like, catch that. And I'm going to stop sharing it now. I'm going to put the full video link in the description for you guys to check out. But think about it. Donald Trump wants to isolate this country like Russia, very isolated, like North Korea, 100% isolated, and whose countries are run by dictators, autocrats, where the people's will does not even exist because they have to pretty much live the type of life that the leader desires for them to live. North Koreans, they can't even leave the country. They have to try to escape. This man is crazy, okay? And I'm just so ready to turn the page on him. I'm going to do a separate video talking about that, but bad for business, bad for the economy, bad for the country. This is something that should have been spoken about a whole lot more, but the mainstream media, they wouldn't focus on things like that. They see Trump as a clown, but a clown is supposed to be something that's entertaining in a way. So that's what they used him for the entertainment and for the ratings and the views, which brings them in more money. But I'll have the full video link in the description, guys, so that you can check it out. Again, today is election day. I'll be checking things as we go along. But guys, I hope that you are staying hopeful. And no, this isn't about worshiping Kamala. She isn't the second coming of Jesus Christ. I'm not saying that she is the savior of the nation and the world, but I'm just ready to turn the page on this hateful last going on 10 years of dealing with Donald Trump since he came down that escalator in 2015 to announce his run for presidency. We're about to go into 2025, and I'm ready to leave him in the dust, a thing of the past. All right, guys, let me know your thoughts in the comments. Thanks for being here, liking, and subscribing. I'm Beth, just being beautifully honest. So until next time, I wanted to keep it brief, beautiful, and now I'm going to say bye.